Okay, guys, I think we're back. I had made screw up whenever I was setting everything up for the show. I'm just double checking here in just a second to see if it actually starts streaming to Rumble like it should. But yep, okay. Looks like we're good on Rumble now. Matt should be joining us here in just a minute and we can get everything started. But like he was saying, we're the Matt started Green Beret Life, 501c3, providing outdoor training or outdoor activities training, that sort of thing, to first responders, military, and their families. Um, we've got several good shows for you guys tonight. It's going to be a shorter show tonight because Matt has to report for jury duty first thing in the morning. So he's a night owl, so he is not happy about that whatsoever. Um, let me see. He's asking for me to send him a new link for him to join. So we should be getting that here in just a second. Let me double check, make sure it went out to him. It did. So he got his link. He should be joining here in just a minute. Oh, there he is. Yep. All right. So bring Matt back in.
All right.
All right. Sorry about that. That was all me. I neglected a step in the setup to push it over to Rumble as well, but I tested it and it's working there.
All right. Well, there was obviously a problem because even on my side, I couldn't see me. I only saw like a fraction of the screen. You know.
Yeah,
It was
hopefully it
weird.
didn't screw up anybody that was waiting for the show. So if it did, maybe
Anyways,
they'll find this one.
what do we got on tap for tonight?
We've got several things. There's some news come out kind of reinforcing what we already knew about Hillary Clinton being involved in the Russiagate hoax.
Along with direct ties to George Soros's organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
And no, I don't have this as part of the story, but apparently her and Bill are being subpoenaed over the Epstein thing.
There's a bunch of them being. Did you see the list?
Yeah. I didn't see the
Oh,
list. I just saw the story with the two of them.
it's all with the shit bags on it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I guess that's their way of unofficially giving us the client list of everybody that's being subpoenaed is one of the clients allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah. So
We've got that. We've got Texas with didn't their House Democrats do this a few years ago too, where they fled the state?
Something's familiar about what they did, but now they're going to get arrested.
Yeah.
So
yeah, basically the Democrats in the Texas House have decided we don't like being in the minority and basically Republicans being in charge and able to push the agendas that they want to push. So we're going to flee the state to basically deadlock the government of the state of Texas. And the Texas Attorney General,
of the Democrat Party, with help of the Democrat Party is because they were being flown to Illinois and I think New York and all the liberal shithole states. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ken Paxton's basically announced that he's going to well, we'll discuss it in particular on the story, but he's got some options that he's going to exercise concerning this whole thing. Hey, thanks for joining,
Greg
Troy.
Abbott and Ken Paxton.
Yeah, Greg Abbott and Ken Paxton. Troy just joined. He's going to be able to catch the whole show tonight, so that's good.
All right.
Good to see you,
Well, Troy, it's going to be a short one tonight because, like I was saying before, I got jury duty in the morning. I can't believe it. I never had jury duty before, but I got it. So
well, go perform your civic duty, Matt. And as soon as you tell them you are a police officer and SF, you're.
Yeah. When did you have your last jury duty, Stu?
Me? Never. They don't want me on there.
Go perform your civic duty.
I'm there when they call upon me. They just know better.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Shit.
we all remember Jim Acosta. I've got a story for him, but I'm not even gonna pregame that story. I want to just drop the whole thing at one time. I don't even want to pregame that one.
All right.
And we've got a couple of oddball stories we're going to try and get to. It's just kind of going to depend on our time frame because, like we said, Matt has jury duty, so he's got to leave from his normal posted up spot, get home, all that kind of nonsense, and be up early a.m. to get to the courthouse.
I gotta be over in the county seat. It's insane. It's stupid. But anyways,
And what time do you have to be there?
They make these things a real inconvenience. I have to get up at like 5 a.m. to be able to be there on time. It's nonsense. So it can be a real inconvenience. This civic duty bullshit, right?
The civic duty nonsense, right?
Oh, yeah.
And especially for you to get there and say, "Yeah, I was a cop." Yeah, thank you for your time, sir.
Yeah, I was in the military and I was a cop. Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, no.
No.
All right, so well, we've got another one of the stories we've got here. What do you want to start with, Matt? What are you looking at?
Roll the dice. Pull one out of the hat.
Well, here we'll pull one up. We didn't even talk about. Let me.
Okay.
I've got to set my screen share back up again. I had to shut everything down. But here we go. Back right after January 6th, Bank of America basically debanked Trump. He had to move all of his funds, all of his everything out of Bank of America right after January 6th. And it's come out that this is all due to Biden and his administration threatening the bank with regulators. And what they said right here, it says sources at the bank confirmed the cause stemmed from the controversy surrounding January 6th and threats from Biden's bank regulators that banking the former president's money put them in danger of falling afoul of the rule that prohibits financial institutions from doing business with individuals and companies that present a reputational risk. Now, this rule was put in place by the FDIC, and used to go against money launderers and drug kingpins.
Who were the people that were behind pushing this on Trump? The money launderers, and yeah,
exactly.
These people are so disgusting in so many ways. They went after all of the associates of Trump too, and then the lawyers, all of the states bars associate, all of them need to be investigated. They all need to be investigated. So,
I mean, because you have attorneys who, as clients, you know, the guy that masterminded the bombing of the World Trade Center, nobody went after, his attorney for disbarment because, his client was a criminal, or went after him and threatened to remove his law license because he was representing his client to the best of his ability, which is his job to do. But, all of these people with Trump, when he's asking them, hey, what are options? We don't think this was legit. We think this, here are options that you have, straight to jail. And it just, it makes, well, I'm not going to say it makes no sense.
Going after the attorneys that were investigating on behalf of the Trump administration, what went on during the 2020 election, and any other attorney, right, is absolutely insane, and it's criminal. It is absolutely criminal. The criminals were trying to paint what they were doing and push it all onto Trump. They were projecting everything. And we know, the American people see it. The American people see it. Right now, you have these, you have Brennan and Clapper, or people out there speaking for him, Mark Elias, the really shady, allegedly, Democrat lawyer that was in the mix of everything, strong arming these states to change election laws right before 2020 and all of this. So you have them going on media outlets, basically imploring the media to not report what's coming out with the intel leaks, and they're
Well,
doubling down. It's
the thing
insane.
is, if you're ever curious
But
what
the
the
intel drops,
Democrats,
not leaks.
yeah, if you're ever curious as to what the Democrat Party is actually up to and what they're actually doing, look at what they're accusing everyone else of, because that's
Yeah.
what they're actually doing. I mean, it's been that way for the last decade at least, and it's funny that it always comes out in the end that everything that they were jumping up and down and clutching pearls and running to the fainting couch about someone else being accused of or them accusing someone of, it comes to find out that's exactly what they were doing.
Well, the beauty thing about this, Stu, is it's being dismantled as we speak. What the Trump administration knew, and I'm sure that the raid on Mar-a-Lago had a lot to do with this. What they had, the evidence that they had, and who was really pulling the strings behind all of that. But what the Trump administration has done first is go after their money, and everybody's like, "There's no way George Soros is funding all of this shit all over the world." Even though he's a billionaire, he's not spending all his money.
USAID.
Yeah. So now you
And
see
guess
all of
guess
these.
who's broke now? The
Yeah.
Democrat Party.
Yep. So you see all of these agencies and all of these ways to funnel money. It's our taxpayer money being used against us,
Yeah.
right? So Trump has he has started the process of shutting that all the way down. Now there's still the big one out there, the Fed, right?
Yeah.
But you see the pressure Trump is putting on that every day, right? But all you can now start to see the pattern of behavior and why they were kicking back so hard as these things were going down. Their Act Blue, USAID, all of these federal agencies, these NGOs, all of these grants. Now you're starting to see exactly how they were doing and how shady all of this shit was. So the first thing
Oh
he
yeah.
did was he's cut off the money. Now he's releasing the intel. Everybody thought the whole Durham report was done and dusted. Nothing happened. You're getting all of the Durham report now. Now we're getting the Durham. This is where all of this came from, right?
Yep.
And some figurative nuclear bombs are dropping right now as we speak, and they are in full panic. That list, we should have had that for the show, but if you go and look at the list of what they knew about the Epstein case and everything, it's the who's who of shitbaggery in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So the grand juries are coming and people are panicking. So,
Well,
and where's the media
and
stand in their culpability with all of this? They were knowing propagandists. It's not like, oh, they were innocent, just repeating what did. No, they were knowing accomplices and propagandists. That's what they were.
yeah, exactly.
So,
But speaking of Hillary Clinton, everybody's favorite whatever that is. Yeah, like we all knew she was directly knee deep involved in the Russia hoax. And it's all come out. I mean, this is things. It's funny to me that they're acting like this is breaking news. We've known this for a freaking decade,
well,
but
the
they're like,
media is
oh,
doubling down and lying on it. They're coming out and
yeah,
saying the intel reports have said this. No, they're completely lying, as they always done. They're trying to protect themselves, right? But now it turns out that the whole Russia collusion hoax, right, was all done because it was to deflect off of the email scandal, where
yep,
Hillary Clinton had an unsecured email set up in some closet in an apartment in Colorado that could have been accessed by anyone. And all of
yeah.
that was just under the rug. What was she doing? How was the Clinton Foundation and the Clinton Global Initiative raising all of this money?
And
What was the
I'm
real
sorry,
story behind Uranium One?
there should
Right?
be any public official that is caught using and emailing under an alias or conducting official business outside of that email, that government provided email, should go to jail.
And it's
because
not that she
the
was
only
trying to, I
reason,
think people, Stu, I think people miss a bunch of this story. It's not like
yeah,
she was just trying to stay out of government scrutiny. It's like, oh, somebody broke into that server and got it. I didn't give it to them, right? They broke into this server that anybody could break into, sitting in a closet in Colorado with America's deepest secrets on it. And I didn't give it to them. They hacked into the system and got it, right?
yeah. Well, guess what? It wouldn't have been there if you weren't already breaking the law, But
Exactly. And oh, I was getting all of these donations for speeches. Bill was giving speeches and getting millions of dollars for a tiny speech that didn't last very long in Eastern Europe or in South America, wherever the hell he was, right? And this global initiative and Uranium One, all of this shit was most likely contained, most likely, in my opinion, on those servers. And you're going to see how shit was sold and having that air of deniability around it. So that's
let's
my
see.
allegedly. No.
So I was trying to see if they had the numbers here on the Clinton Foundation, but crap, where's the but basically they were getting hundreds of millions of dollars a year in the Clinton Foundation, year after year after year after year. And then as soon as she doesn't get elected, plummets by 75% to like 16 million, up from like 250 and 300 million dollars plus a year to the Clinton slush fund. As soon as she doesn't get elected, it drops to 16 million. What were they doing? They were buying access. They were buying favors.
Yeah.
And she was selling that for the selling access to the office.
And isn't it
But
funny? She even had her kid in on the act because Chelsea was part of that whole global initiative.
well, she
And
was
then
like the head
Chelsea,
of it or something, wasn't
yeah.
she?
And then she went to work for NBC and made all sorts of money, just like one of the Bush daughters who's still working for NBC, right? You can see the grift.
Yeah.
You can see the scam. It's a complete scam. And remember all the time and effort the Clinton Global Initiative spent in Haiti? Look how they helped that place, right? Look how
Well,
they helped
it's a
that place, right?
paradise now, right now,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing's a scam. Everybody's starting to see it. These people are all allegedly criminals, right? And I think we're getting ready to see some justice being doled out. Maybe not the way we wanted it or thought of it or imagined it, but this shit is starting to come home to roost. And
Well,
you're going to see why they try to kill Trump on two separate occasions, why they raided his home, why they try to financially destroy him, why they went after everybody associated with him. All of this, it's all tied together. And I think we're going to see it as we get little drops that are laid out. And then the media responds with a lie. And then we get another drop that just shows that the media was lying one more time. The media will continue to lie. And eventually, I think they're all going to get wrapped up in this because the American people are slowly, not our side, but I think some of the middle and even some of the Democrats are slowly starting to wake up and see what in the hell is going on.
yeah. And, with this right here, this Hillary Clinton story, it says here, according to the declassified files, and again, why was this classified? Clinton personally approved a plan proposed by her foreign policy advisor, Julianne Smith, to smear Donald Trump by magnifying the scandal tied to the intrusion by the Russian special services in the pre election process to benefit the Republican candidate. This foreign policy advisor was later appointed to serve as ambassador to NATO under Joe Biden. And says here, this is an email written by Open Society Foundation. Who does Open Society Foundation, Matt?
George Soros. And
Yes.
to a federal official, this email was to a federal official of an outside foreigner, George Soros, foreign-born
Yeah.
communist, colluding with the government in order to set up the future president of the United States and to have the media push all of the bullshit. This is like the biggest. You think Watergate, which was a big setup anyways, you think Watergate was anything? That is nothing compared to this.
No, that was amateur
Absolutely
hour.
nothing. This is absolutely insane. And George
Yeah.
Soros, that whole organization, they need to peel the layers back and look at every aspect of that organization and that
But
piece of shit.
But the plan included raising the theme of Putin's support for Trump. How many times did you hear Putin's puppet?
Yeah.
And pushing public opinion to equate the Russian leader's influence campaign with the actual election infrastructure hacking. It also involved distributing the necessary information through the FBI affiliated technical structures, in particular CrowdStrike and Threat Connect companies, where the information would then be disseminated through U.S. publications. So the FBI puts this information out through CrowdStrike, which then it gets back to the news media, which then disseminates it as fact. So
who owns CrowdStrike? Who owns CrowdStrike? A Ukrainian-born individual, right? Those were the DNC servers. When they were saying they were attacked by the Russians, were turned over to CrowdStrike, not the FBI. So CrowdStrike could go out and say it was the Russians. Everybody knows it wasn't the Russians. I think we all know that. And there's an alleged dead individual now that you can't mention the person's name, right? That may be very, very closely associated with this and a certain WikiLeaks outlet.
Yeah. There's a lot here, and it's so supremely frustrating. One, that the American body as a whole has a goldfish attention span when it comes to things, and two, that it is literally taken almost a decade for anything to come out on this when they've had the information. None of this is new.
Stu, and you're seeing it's blatantly, it was done to cover up the Hillary Clinton email scandal. It was done to cover that. So blame him of shit that we're doing to cover up for the shit that we're doing.
What I just say?
And use the FBI and these outside organizations and other intel agencies in other countries in order to push this huge farce, and then have the media run it and nonstop ad nauseum. And this went all the way up to Barack Obama.
Yeah. What I say to do, if you're curious, is what the Democrats are actually doing. Look at what they're accusing everyone else of.
Yep.
That's it in a nutshell. It's absolutely nuts. Go ahead.
We have any comments we need to get to, Stu?
No, nothing yet. It's a slow day in the chat room today. I'm not sure if we missed a holiday or something. But in good news though, Texas is not playing. They've had, now for those of you that don't know, Texas doesn't have a full-time their house is not in session year round or every year. They're only in session, I think, a couple of months every 2 years. Is it?
I wasn't even aware of that. I didn't think that was the case.
Yeah, they're not in session continuously. They're only in session. I'm trying to find it. I know what it is, but I want to say it's every 2 years, but I could be wrong about that. But I know they're not in session continuously. But if I remember right, years ago, the Democrats did the same thing. They fled Texas because they weren't happy. They weren't in power. Things they didn't agree with were being passed. Guess what?
They didn't want to vote on it.
In
so
democracy.
They left, holding the vote up.
Yeah, so, guess what? That's what happens in democracy. You win some, you lose some. You don't get to take your fucking ball and go home and refuse to represent the people that elected you.
So what they're worried about now is apparently several years ago there was this push for race-based redistricting. Okay. And now it's come out that it's pretty much unconstitutional with this. I don't know if there was actually but it's it's way shady, way under the table, districting by race, right?
Gerrymandering the districts.
Yes. And you can't do that. So Texas is going through a redistricting right now, and that's what they're waiting to vote on. And they're all in full panic. And you even have Jasmine Crockett out there screaming she's not going to be reelected if this happens, and da 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 da. And so the Democrat solution is, hey, we're just going to leave and not be here, so they can't take a vote. And Ken Paxton and Governor Abbott are not playing, and they're ready to play hardball. And Paxton's always ready to play hardball, but Abbott lately has been willing to play hardball too. And God bless them for it, because they're not fooling. And these Democrats that have been flown to places like Illinois and New York, allegedly, and other places, are getting ready to get themselves in a whole heap of trouble, because they're going to be charged with felonies if they don't come back. They've been told, they were given a time and date, you must be back here or you're going to be charged. They let it expire, and now let's see how this all plays out. But what a time to be alive, Stu.
Well, Paxton is also filing to vacate the Democrat seats if they don't return to vote by the end of the week. And he declared that breaking a quorum constitutes an abandonment of office. He says, I will seek judicial orders declaring that runaway Democrats who fail to appear by the speaker's deadline have vacated their office. The people of Texas elected lawmakers, not jet-setting runaways looking for headlines. You don't show up to work, you get fired.
And that there is the energy of a leader right there. That is the energy of a leader right there. Unafraid, willing to stick it down, and that's what he's doing. So, good man.
Let me see. How long is the legislative session in Texas? The regular legislative session in Texas lasts for a maximum of 140 days. These sessions are held every other odd number year.
All right.
So So they're only in session every 2 years for 140 days max.
Boy.
So that makes what they're doing even more impactful to the people that have things that the legislative
You'll
body.
get it out. Come on. You got it.
I know it's hard being me some days.
Spit it out.
But that's even more impactful. There are things that these legislators need to get passed, and they can't. And basically, they have to have a certain number of people present before they can call the session in, which is that quorum that they're talking about. If they don't have enough people there, they can't call the session in, so they can't start conducting business. And by these people running, that's what they've done. And we've got Representative Lulu Flores on CNN that says, we're here in Illinois and we plan to stay as long as it takes. You've just heard that the special session.
What's the name of the representative?
Lulu Flores.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, Lulu.
You've just heard that the special session lasts until August 19th. That's the very least amount of time we expect to be out here. We're taking it a day at a time, a session at a time. We'll wait to see what the governor decides to do. Once this special session ends, he can call subsequent special sessions. However, the mood of the nation, I like that. The mood of the nation is, we're going to
Governor Greg Abbott. That's who the mood of the nation is with.
Exactly.
You guys are about to FAFO. Let's see this. Trip on your dick to step on a rake. There you go.
Yeah. But it's ridiculous that they think and it's all political. It's all about political power. It's got nothing to do with representing the people that you were elected to represent. It's got nothing to do with anything. It's about they are terrified of losing political power. And again, like I said, they've done this before. They've run out of the stakes. I think they went that time, like just right across the border to like Oklahoma or something to that effect. Last time this
Yeah.
happened.
Well, what's funny is the Democrats take advantage of every possible thing they can do, even when it's borderline criminal with their
Oh,
redistricting and
well,
gerrymandering, right?
you're very charitable in using borderline as an adjective.
Yeah, exactly. And they've done that in every blue state, by the way. That every blue
Yes.
state. Yeah, I mean, people think these people are getting legitimately elected. Oh boy, I've got some
No,
oceanfront
again,
property in Arizona for you.
If districts were not gerrymandered, it would be just squares on the map. When you
Hmm.
can look at it and it's okay, it goes right down this street and it's the right hand side of the street here, but then over here it crosses over the left hand side of the street. That that's
Look,
done
look at
for a specific purpose.
look at what Chicago has done to Illinois, because the whole state of Illinois is red except for Chicago and Rockford, right? And maybe
Yep.
Joliet, right? The whole state is red. And if you want to see an art in that, and then you just look at the state of Illinois and see that's how the Democrats retain 100% control over that state, no matter what.
Yeah, he Troy just said, he said Wisconsin had a bunch of Democrats leave back in the Walker era.
Yeah, it might have. Yeah,
I don't remember that,
I, I
but I
I
don't know.
vaguely remember people leaving. I vaguely
How
remember that. I don't remember if it
long
was
ago was
Texas or.
Walker?
Oh, Walker was. Phew, I think Trump's first term, Walker was still there, but I think the midterms is when Walker lost to Evers.
Uh, yeah, I
And
don't remember that, but
and that one Walker was ahead, and then all of a sudden you just see that it just disappear in Milwaukee and then up in Superior, these big heavy blue areas. I remember watching it
mm,
that night. Watching, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Oh, they're getting
oh,
within 2 points. They're getting within 1 point. Oh,
oh,
they're
so they just
ahead.
kept recounting until they got
Yeah.
the verdict they were looking for.
Yeah. Wisconsin, a big chunk of Wisconsin is heavily red, but Milwaukee, Madison, Superior, oh, it is it is so shady blue in those areas there, and for some reason, they're allowed to keep doing what they do every election cycle. You could see it in the senatorial race down in Milwaukee County this year, where the same thing
Yeah,
happened. Yeah, the same thing happened, and they're doing it in all the blue states. What's happening with all of this is that that way they're able to manipulate the system is being taken away from them in all sorts of places, and even the illegals being brought out of these states, right? Even the blue states, because one of the arguments is let all the illegals just go to the blue states. Well, they're using that because they're getting congressional seats over it, right?
yes,
And then they're allowing these illegals to vote in statewide elections and local elections, right? So if they're voting in statewide and local elections, where is the and if it's a one-party state, right? Where is the gatekeeper making sure that illegals aren't voting in federal elections,
yeah,
right? There isn't
exactly.
any. So that's why they're panicking with these illegals being taken out of California and New York and Illinois and all of this. That's their power base. That is their power base. In some states, they're making illegals police officers, sworn police officers. Tell me that's constitutional, right? So somebody's going to
Well,
have
hey,
constitutional power over you that doesn't have any constitutional right to be here, right? Okay.
I'm gonna get you real fired up. Are you ready?
Yeah.
There's a member of the Homeland Security Committee,
Mm-hmm.
Delia Catalina Ramirez. All right, this
Okay.
chick right here. She was doing a speech down in Mexico, and she says, I am a proud Guatemalan before I am American, the Illinois Democratic rep said in Spanish during the opening remarks of the second annual Pan American Congress in Mexico City.
Well, that
I'm
language
both,
coming from a U.S. representative, right, should be treasonous. That should
it
be
should be,
classified as treason.
it should be immediate dismissal from
Yes.
office.
Yep.
She goes on to say here, I am from both Guatemala and Chicago. No, you're not, because 42 years ago, a pregnant Guatemalan woman illegally crossed the Rio Grande and gave birth to a baby who now has birthright citizenship. Today, that child sits in Congress. This person who says she's a proud Guatemalan before an American.
Which
So
was
she's
never
more proud of a
constitutional.
country.
Birthright citizenship is never
So she's more
constitutional.
proud of a country that her mother fled than she is the country that gave her mother illegally a place to live, a life, and basically gave her the opportunity to be elected as a member of Congress. She would still take Guatemala before America. That's her stance. And she says here, I'm from both Guatemala and Chicago. Honoring my Guatemalan ancestry only strengthens my commitment to America. What kind of fucking mind-twisting bullshit is that?
That's leftist. That's leftist garbage speak designed to pull the wool over the eyes of the rubes. That's exactly what that is. She's saying nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
But and she's on the Homeland Security Committee. Yeah, and she's telling you her allegiance is to another country.
Well, she needs to be removed right now. She needs to be removed right now. And her security clearance needs to be stripped.
Yes.
See how she operates as a congresswoman without a security clearance.
They were elected. They need whatever to represent their people. No, the people on these committees where classified information is shared, they should have to. Yes.
Let's get to that story with the British story, because my phone is starting to act up.
Okay. I just wanted to say real quick on this. If you're part of a committee that deals with classified intelligence, you should have to be able to pass the background investigation for that level of access before you're allowed to serve on that committee.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. This is the one you wanted to get to right here, Matt. This is the UK is a failed country, and we're chasing them down the fucking sinkhole. But go ahead with this. This was your story.
Well, I can't read it because, but basically, we're starting to see more and more about it's Rotherham, England, right? And this is where the story of the Pakistani grooming gangs came up, where the British girls were being raped by up to 20 men at a time, right? In all horrible ways, girls as young as 11 years old, right? So basically, the crux of this story is, and this ties into what we were talking about last week with this new censorship bill that's trying to be pushed through Great Britain, right? And the European Union as a whole, right? Where they're it's saying they're protecting the children. What they're really doing is they're trying to monitor any anti-immigrant speech or sentiment. Anything pushing back to what the deep state is doing, destroying Europe, is protecting the children, right? That's the guys they're using. But that's what this is all about. So this story here is now you're having girls come out and say, yeah, I was raped, I was groomed by these gangs. And then if I ever went to the police with it, the police happened to be Pakistani British, right? And that were very tied to the community, right? And allegedly, and the police were raping them. Right. And then if they ever reported it somewhere else, one of the girls said one of the police officers showed up to take my statement on it. And he ripped the whole story up in front of her. There's a whole story. Stu will read it there. But basically, the British government, if you think our government is infested with shit, look at the British government and what they're covering up in all of this. Stu, read a couple of the stories from those girls.
Yeah, so we'll get down here. Let me see. Well, this is the one that we were talking about before. This is one of the women, and I'll before I read this, because a lot of people are like, well, why don't they just go somewhere else? Why do they go with these guys if they know what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
One one of the other stories that I was listening to, this it's a young lady now. She was 13 and 14 at the time. She was explaining what they would really start out by love bombing them, buying them stuff, giving them a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then once they got their claws into them, and they started pushing this other stuff. Well, then if they decided, she said they would come up by me in the car, tell me to get in the car. If I refused, they would jump out of the car and beat the shit out of me and then throw me in the car. So it was easier to just get in the car. Even though she knew what was going to happen, she didn't have a choice, because it was that or she's going to get, the crap beat out of her. And this particular individual she was in the system. She was, no mom, no dad. She was basically in what in America would be the foster care system, or, in a group home, that sort of thing. So she had no one to go to. She said she would come home.
But even if they did have people to go to, read the story that's in here,
Yeah.
because it mirrors what you just said, and it really read that.
Yeah. So right here we've got one of the women, Willow, not her real name, says she was sexually abused by hundreds of men over 5 years after first being targeted as an 11-year-old in 1997 by a grooming gang. 2 police officers also abused her, she says. Over 3 years, one of the SYP, that's a British acronym for something, would
Police,
repeatedly track her down and pick her up in a police car in Rotherham Town Center. He knew where we used to hang out. He would request either oral sex or rape us in the back of the police car. If she tried to refuse his request, he would contact the grooming gang directly to threaten her. So he would use the grooming gang to threaten her. I would rather be raped once than to be taken somewhere where I know it would be 15 to 20 guys, one after another. After she was pressured into an illegal abortion by the grooming gang, she says a youth worker contacted social services and the police. But she was destroyed when one of the officers who had been abusing her turned up to interview her. A few days later, the same officer ripped up her statement in front of her and threw it in the bin, and no further action was taken.
This is the crap that's been going on in Great Britain that people have been bitching about. And if they bitch about it or bring it up on the internet, they're being targeted, picked up, and arrested. This is what Great Britain has evolved into. This is the future that George Soros and the World Economic Forum has planned out for planet Earth, right? And all of these other shitbags we can't even mention. We don't even know their names, right? And this is an absolute crime, an absolute travesty. And that government over there, boy, oh boy, I think they need to start anew, right?
Well, you know what, Matt? This is on a national level. Do you remember that father in Virginia whose daughter was sexually assaulted in the bathroom by
2 illegals?
The kid in the skirt?
Yeah, it was 2 illegals from what I thought it was.
No, not that one. The one where it was the dude in the skirt that sexually assaulted his daughter in the bathroom, and he shows up, and they kick him out of the conference, out of the school board meeting. They have him arrested, and there's that happened in Virginia. Is this on a national scale? Any parent that speaks up for their child, anyone that does anything, they use all of their anti-racism and bigotry and hurt feelings by speech laws to prosecute these people, the victims and the families of the victims, rather than admit and address what is going on.
Yeah, this is something I just wanted to put out there, before we left tonight, just because the mainstream media is not going to cover any of this. They're covering up for this, right? Even here in the United States, they're covering up for
complicit.
this. When you hear that the left cares about people and it's for the children, that's a Marxist tactic for the children, right? If anybody's familiar with Adolf Hitler's book Mein Kampf, right? Where there's a statement in that book that says, if you can convince the public that it's for the benefit of the children, they will give up any liberty, right? That's
Yep.
socialism, Marxism, communism 101, right?
So every
So
time you
that
hear it's for the children, that's
mhm,
what they're literally pulling from. They call us Nazis, but they're literally pulling from Hitler's playbook.
correct. Correct. That's once again what did Stu say at the beginning? They are accusing you of what they are, right? Period. And what they're doing. So these people are royal shitbags. Before we go, Stu, do we have any comments we need to get to?
Yeah, I was chatting back and forth with Troy in the chat when we were talking about Texas. He was saying that he hopes Texas prosecutes them to the full extent of the law, and I said, me too. If they don't, it'll just continue to happen. And he says, if there's no consequences, bad behavior will be the norm. And I said, look around, it is now. I said, look at
Mm-hmm.
all the shoplifting and mobs raiding stores, no consequences, and the Dems can't figure out why crime continues to rise. And Troy said, but they just want bread to eat. And I said, I didn't realize you could eat sneakers and big screen TVs. And
Well,
Troy said, Red's hot sauce, put that shit on everything. Sorry, it was a lot of build up to the joke, but that was a good one, Troy.
Well, what's funny is there was a big video that went viral of these like 10-year-old kids that got locked in this Walgreens, right? And they wouldn't let them out of, and they were just blatantly stealing shit, right? So then a few days later, these kids with their older sister make a video and start pushing back on all the people that, and they're like, we're not poor, we got food, and their language is so bad. I mean, it's sad.
Oh,
It's really sad.
it is.
And
You
y'all
realize
broke
they
if you
really
we
don't
were
have a
stealing.
chance.
They were trying to say we were stealing toys and candy because we wanted to steal. That's what they're sitting there saying. And it's funny because this is what the Democrat Party has done to America in our big cities, right? That the Democrat Party wants you dumb, pissed off, right? And have some feeling that you have no other outlet to turn to get your life straight except look to the government to take care of everything when they put you in that position in the first place.
Well,
You
and
know?
they want you to blame the position that they put you in on the person across the street from you that's just getting up and going to work every day. Well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but his car is nicer than yours, so he must
Yep.
be. If he didn't have that nice car, then it's all race and class based manipulation and just trying to pit different groups against each other, whether it's by race, class, whatever. They can keep us squabbling and fighting amongst each other, then we don't notice the jackassery that they're involved in.
All right, guys. Well, the show is going to be a little shorter tonight. I think we got through most of what we were trying to get to. I want to
Well,
thank all you guys.
I've got one, Matt. You got 5 minutes?
My phone is breaking down, Stu. Yeah, go
All right.
go ahead.
If you need to drop, go ahead. But I really want to do this one here because this one
My
really
phone is
pissed
on
me off.
my phone. I may have to. My phone's on fire. So
Okay. Well,
you go
yeah.
ahead and do
If
it.
you need to.
I'm dropping out.
Okay.
Live in freedom every day, guys. I'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, Matt. We'll
Okay.
see you, man.
See you.
We all know Jim Acosta from his assholery whenever during Trump's first term. Well, he's since been fired because the hate Trump all the time doesn't sell when Trump isn't in office. So he's decided now that it's not enough for the Democrats and the gun control activists to be, standing on the bodies of dead children to proclaim their gun control measures are what would save them. Now they have to dig these children up, plug them into an AI, and act as if the children are speaking from the dead about the evils of gun ownership. This guy literally, this kid's parents, and AI is nothing but is 80% buzzword right now. It's they built an AI model of their kid that Acosta interviewed, and Acosta asks him, "I was wondering, could you tell me what happened to you? And this AI construct, AI Frankenstein says, I appreciate your curiosity. I was taken from this world too soon due to gun violence while at school. It's important to talk about these issues so we can create a safer future for everyone. What would you like to know more about? It's not even AI. It's a cheap ass GPT knockoff. It's disgusting is what it is. And as Matt and I say, not necessarily the press's fault on this, other than glorifying it, but this is just sad. And we've got here just how the loss of their child has to be crushing for this family. But it's going on here saying if that wasn't disturbing enough, a follow-up interview with the father revealed that the wife would spend hours talking with this AI construct. I'm sorry, that is not healthy. It's not healthy. What happened there was an absolute tragedy, but this is not even. I honestly I don't have words for it. I saw this, and the first thing that popped into my head is because anytime there's any sort of gun violence or anything to that effect, the media is there before the bodies have cooled down, talking about how we need more gun control. Now that isn't enough. They have to dig them up, plug them into a computer, and act as though they're speaking to them from beyond the grave. It's that's disturbing. But as Matt said, we're cutting it a little short tonight, only a few minutes. It's we've been on a little over 50 minutes, and I had to screw up in the beginning of the show that really didn't have us streaming anywhere. But we appreciate everyone joining. Troy, appreciate the conversation in chat. Thank you for always being here, being a big supporter. We love all the interaction that we have, the conversation we have with everyone. We will be back Tuesday. We will see you then. And like I said, we appreciate everything. As Matt would say, live in freedom every day. We'll see you guys Tuesday.